Hey yogis, welcome back. It's Sarah Hutchinson at Yoga Wisdom and Wellness. I'm a registered nurse and a yoga lifestyle mentor. And you're in the right place if you're interested in using how to use the wisdom of Ayurveda in the everyday to create a vibrant, thriving, joyful life. That's what I love to do, and I love to teach it. So welcome. This is the third in our series for this new year, giving you the keys to vibrant living through everyday Ayurveda. And at Yoga Wisdom and Wellness, we've captured these keys in the acronym AARP. So today we're on the R, which is rest. Just a quick review, and the vids are up on the website if you need to go retrieve them. If you haven't seen the first two, no problem. The first one you'll see is Agni. Agni is the fire of transformation. I'm looking out my window and I see Agni in the sky today in the form of the sun, and I feel Agni in my belly because it's almost lunchtime. So that's the first A. The fire of transformation. The second A we did last week stands for Ama. Ugh, that's the sticky, icky stuff that we want to learn to get rid of. And for today, my Ama is down the drain. I hope that's not TMI. And now we come to one of my favorite topics, which is rest. And if you're one of those people that feel like you need more rest, stick around, because yoga and Ayurveda recognize the critical importance of rest to health and well-being, and even more important for us yogis, higher consciousness. If you want to develop a meditation practice or want a better existing practice, you may need more rest. And it's pretty simple to unlock the keys to rest. Let's talk about it. So I'm crazy about acronyms, have you noticed? And I made one for today for rest. But just before we go through those, just really quickly, something you may already know. 30% of Americans claim that they are insomniacs. We get 20% less sleep than previous generations. More than 30% of people say that they are unrested. In fact, it's above 50% of Americans say, I'm tired, I'm fatigued. And here's the really scary thing. There's a functional problem with people being sleepless. Professional people who are sleepless cause disasters. I was reading an article recently, and Chernobyl, the Exxon Valdez, and 3 Mile Island both have components of tired human operators being responsible for those disasters. Think about doctors and nurses. I am one of them. Sleep deprivation is so common in our population, and it puts us off our game. Thousands of people die in car crashes each year because of issues related to sleep. So we know we have an epidemic of sleeplessness that causes a drop in productivity, functional problems, and just makes us miserable and doesn't give us access to our higher self. So we get the problem. Let's talk about the solutions through yoga and Ayurveda. So here's a quick way to think about rest. Think about the R as standing for rejuvenate. Like rejuvenating is a big feature of Ayurveda. And it's linked to this vital essence called ojas. And on this same email that you're receiving, you're going to see a little primer on ojas. If you don't already know what it is, I'm going to introduce you. If you do, I'm giving you some nice checklists so you can check in on your level of ojas. And you can also be reminded how to build ojas. Ojas is the vital sap. As sap is to a tree, ojas is to us as humans. And rejuvenation is all about building ojas. I decided for the E to use the word enter, to give you permission to enter into a place of rest. And that's going to look a little different for you every day. It might look like turning off NPR. Now, who doesn't love NPR? When I'm in my car, bing, the button goes on if I'm on automatic brain. But if I want to rest and rejuvenate, sometimes I need a break from the news because I'm not sure I'm going to get a lovely news story. I could get the stuff that's going to be upsetting to me. So I give myself permission to turn off the radio. Maybe you give yourself permission for a little less Netflix that week and a little earlier bedtime. I want to invite you to enter into the realm of rest and to be aware of how in the everyday you can respond to that invitation. We can talk more about that another time. For the S, we're going to go to Sanskrit and to this lovely word so many of you are familiar, which is santosha. Santosha means contentment. And this is an enormous feature of resting, finding contentment. Now, you may think of yourself as not having a lot of contentment in your everyday life, but I want you to enter into this idea that you can find little bits, and you can string your contentment together into a lovely necklace of contentment. It might be the contentment of that perfect cup of tea. It might be the contentment of that letter that came in the mail from that person you've been thinking about, or in your inbox. Seek contentment, cultivate it. And again, this is a topic for another time. And finally, the T in rest. I'm also leaning into the Sanskrit, and I'm leaning into the wisdom of everyday Ayurveda rather. And the T, I've actually pulled tamas. So for those of you who know the Mahagunas, these big states, these big moods, some people call them, tamas is the state of inertia. And often we are managing our tamas, and we don't desire tamas because we want to keep going. But we live in the most rajasic, the most active culture in the history of the planet. And so skillfully calling in tamas, inertia, to balance that can help us be more sattvic. And if you don't know these words, it's okay. Just stick around Yoga, Wisdom, and Wellness and you'll learn them. But if you do know the Mahagunas, you know that we can skillfully employ tamas and help to work with the rajas and to cultivate sattva, which is really where we want to be, at that place of ease and clarity and contentment. So this is the get down version of rest. These are some ways that you can use this acronym to just check in. What am I doing to rejuvenate? Again, it can be a small, small step in the everyday. Am I allowing myself to enter into this idea of rest, to even entertain it in my life? Santosha. In what ways am I content, and how can I cultivate contentment in my life to build my ojas, to build my vital essence? And tamas. How might I engage tamas? And a quick tip on that, according to the circadian rhythm, the Ayurvedic clock, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., tamas comes upon us. Things get a little heavier and a little slowed down. This is when we should be winding down and preparing for bed. So welcome that wind down if you can in your lifestyle, and get yourself to bed before 10 p.m. It's a tremendous health benefit according to Ayurveda and according to the research in Western medicine. They're so very correspondent that way. So that's a quick vid about rest. The attachment to this is going to talk about ojas. I encourage you to have a look at that. And check back in with us at Yoga, Wisdom, and Wellness. We are crazy about the science of rest. We can help you learn to meditate. We can help you learn the practice of Yoga Nidra. We can encourage you to attend local kirtan, to get into a devotional state. These are all ways of resting the soul so that we can be replenished, rejuvenated, and show up as our authentic selves for our best life ever. That's the plan. So I hope you've enjoyed. Go ahead and comment on Facebook what you've gotten from this, what other questions you might have. There's always more at yogawisdomandwellness.com. Thanks for stopping by. Namaste.